Hi, everyone. This is Tammy. Hope you guys all come and join me today. We're going to talk about transition and transition assessments and what the idea says about what the school district is responsible for doing, conducting, their obligation under the regulations. And we're also going to talk to you about what am I doing here? Okay, chat, private chat. Okay. All right, it's good. Hello. I'm sorry, guys. So used to doing everything wrong all the time that I have to make sure I'm doing it right. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about it's the regulation is 34 CFR 300.43. It's transitional assessment, and it talks about what the school district is obligated to do. What the school district is obligated to do when your child turns 16. Now, the school district is responsible. Let me see if I can find a few guys. Under federal law, the school district is responsible for providing your kid with transitional services to help them access the community. It's for, well, let me explain it to you this way. Transition services means, under the idea, a coordinated set of activities for a child with a disability that is designed to be within a results-oriented process, okay, that is focused on improving the academic and functional achievement of the child with a disability to facilitate the child's movement from the school to post activities, school activities. Now, it goes into a whole lot of things. Hello, is anybody here? Let me just do this real quick. Find out if I'm on. Why didn't I get this? Oh, okay, good. All right, so I had to check. Anyway, so what the school district has to do is they have to assess your child in various areas of need, from for including post-secondary education, vocational education, integrated employment, including supported employment like coaching, and continuing an adult education, adult services, independent living, or community participation. That's what it's all about. Okay. So they have to conduct evaluations that will cover all of those areas. Now, most of the time, schools will do things like psychoeducational. They'll do social skills. They cover everything that has to do with your kid being in school on an IEP. Okay. What they don't cover is, once your child ages out of this process, then where is your child going to go? Okay. Where's he going to live? Can you provide him with, or her with, the education that they need? Let me do this. Is your child going to need to go into a day program? And then who's going to provide the transportation? What agency will what human service agency will your child fall under in the event, you know, that your child doesn't live in a group home? Okay. So what they have to do is do assessments in all of those areas. Now, there is let me see if I can find it. There is a tool that can be used, and it's called the Age Appropriate Transition Assessment Toolkit. Okay. And it covers kids after they turn 16. Now, in some states are mandated by the time the kids are 14 years of age. That's when they have to start doing the transitional assessment, like in Massachusetts. And I believe, I can't remember if it's Pennsylvania or New York. So they have to do that. So they have to do by the age of 14. Now, but federal law says 16. So in some cases they do it earlier, which is good, because the more information you have at an early stage, the better it is. Like, for instance, when your kid is in school, you know, the typical kids will tell you when I grow up, I want to be. But see, kids who have disabilities, a lot of times these schools don't ask them what they want to do when they get out of school. They just assume that they're going to stay at home or they're not going to do much of anything. Okay. Whatever they think, it's none of their concern. Okay. It's like when you buy a car and you drive it off the lot and you get into an immediate accident. Once you drive that car off the lot, the dealer doesn't have anything to do with that car. You're on your own. And that's pretty much the way the school districts feel about your kid with a disability when they age out or they graduate from special education. So what the age appropriate transition toolkit does, is it tells you what can be done, what type of assessments can be done, all of that. Okay. So I'm going to share this screen right now. So share screen. Here it is. And I want this one. Okay. So, for instance, I can provide you guys with all of this information, and I don't understand why nobody's here. Nobody's here. The age appropriate toolkit tells you what a transition assessment is. It tells you why you have to conduct it. It answers a lot of the questions that you guys all need. Okay. So one of the things is a transition, and it tells you, which is really, really important, is the type of instruments that can be used to test for certain things. For instance, the sample instruments include informal transition assessment methods, interviews and questionnaires, direct observation, environmental or situational analysis, curriculum-based assessment, school performance measures. And for each one of these things, for the informal transition methods, each one of these things, it breaks it down and it gives you a link to where you can go for this information. Okay. I don't know what I did. What is going on? Which is, it'll really help you guys out a lot because it provides you with specific information regarding the transitional assessment and how it helps you. Now, before you get into the transitional assessment, now let's say your kid's about to turn 18. Okay, there's some things you guys need to know. So one of the things that you need to know is that you, if your kid is developmentally challenged or mental incapacitated as far as mental health issues, okay, then what you're going to have to do is, in order to get control so that you can help your child navigate as an adult in our society, what you have to do is you have to figure out if you need to get a court order and become your child's guardian. Okay, legal guardian for financial, educational, and medical reasons. And so you have to go before a judge. You have to fill out the necessary paperwork, which is not that difficult. I've done it several times. I've helped parents do it several times. Okay, so it 90% of the stuff is online, so you'll be able to find it really easy, and I can help you do that too. All of the paperwork is online. And then what you need to do is make sure before your kid leaves school, at least 2 years before your kid leaves school, you need to have all of the evaluations done. And one of the things you need to do are these assessments for transition, because it'll help you identify the agency that may be responsible for your child as your child becomes an adult. Okay, it could be the department that is responsible for people who are developmentally challenged, or it could be for people who suffer from mental illness. So you have to figure out which one that is, and then the school can help you. That's what the transition is all about. The transition will help you to get all of this information out. I don't understand, where's the chat? Comments, nothing. Okay, guess nobody's here. So all of the assessments will help you to gather the necessary information that will help you protect your kid as your kid goes into adulthood. And that's what the transition is all about. So after you get, if you can get, or you want to get guardianship, now it's as if your child did not turn 18. So your child, they still have to answer to you. The reason why it's important, if it's necessary, first of all, you have to find out if it's necessary. You need to talk to the child's doctors and find out, should you do this? And you need to do that before your child turns 18. Okay. And there are people that can help you and guide you through the process as far as figuring out whether or not your child actually needs a guardian, and you to be that guardian for your child. And what is that responsibility? When you go through the court system, you have to provide documentation, like the evaluations. You have to prove that your child is not competent to care for themselves, educationally, financially, or medically. If something were to happen and your adult child ended up in the hospital, because your child is an adult, the doctors cannot talk to you. It doesn't matter that your child is developmentally challenged. It doesn't matter that your child suffers from mental illness. If your adult child is in the hospital, they can't talk to you. They can't take any orders from you. They can't take anything from you. It's a violation of HIPAA. It doesn't matter what you think, what you want, how you want it. It doesn't matter. You have to get guardianship. So you have to find out first if you need guardianship and what it would encompass, okay? And what you want to petition the court for. So if you just want to petition the court for education, that's okay. If you want it from 18 to 22, that would be okay. If you want to petition them for just one of the three, then that would be okay too. All right. So that's what you have to do. You got to get that out of the way. Now, you only do that just before the day your kid turns 18. Okay. Start doing it now. So the day your kid is 18, you're in front of a judge. Okay. And you have all the necessary paperwork. You filled out everything. You have all of the evaluations. Now, like in Massachusetts, what they do is when you petition the court for guardianship, what the state will do is you come in, you fill out the necessary paperwork, you petition the court for this. And then what will happen is the court will assign your kid a lawyer. You'll get guardianship right then and there, but it's temporary. You got 90 days to get everything lined up, because the courts will ask you to fill out more paperwork, to get more information from their doctors, all of that stuff. Okay. So that's what you have to do on that. So once you do that, now, as soon as you get your guardianship papers, temporary or not, as soon as you get your guardianship papers, you send a copy to the school. And then if your kid is just about to turn 18, now you have to contact the necessary agencies. For instance, if your kid's getting services from a human service agency that covers people who are developmentally challenged, then you have to contact them. And now you can fill out the paperwork, okay, for an adult. Once they turn 18, they're an adult. So now you have to fill out the paperwork for adults, for children with disability, for adults with a disability. And you need that document, that guardianship paper, to help you help your kid. Okay. So when you fill out the papers, you give that to the guardian. All right. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So once you do that, you can, now you can start actively, continue basically working for your child. Okay. But now your child is an adult. So now you contact the agencies. Now you have to contact the school, and you have to tell them, like in Massachusetts, again, I'm going to use that as my point of reference because that's where I've done this. In Massachusetts, what it's called a 688 form. And what the school district has to do is they have to send out paperwork to all of the agencies. It's called a 688. And all of the human service agencies that may fund your child's future, such as, can somebody just, if you're here, can somebody just make a comment, just say hi? Because I don't know what I did to my thing. I did something crazy. So if you guys are answering, chatting with me, thank you. Oh no, God. I thought I was doing this wrong. So Mary, my son will be turning 18 in September of his senior year at HS. Will I need to have guardianship in order to be involved in his IEP? Okay. Now, you don't need guardianship. What you need to do, there's a paper called, okay, we're going to switch lanes for a second. Okay. Thank you, Mary. So when your kid turns 18, everybody, if your kid's on an IEP, there's this paper that you have to sign. It's called the age of majority. Okay. The school district could give it to you just before your kid turns 18. And what that paper says is they're giving it to your kid who turned 18, and they're saying, do you want to make all of the decisions regarding your education? Do you not want to make your decisions jointly with your parents? Oh, you're in PA? Okay, thanks. All the states have this. It's called the age of majority. Or do you want just your parent to make all of your educational decisions? So you don't need to guardianship at that point. Just because your kid's on an IEP doesn't necessarily mean you need guardianship, okay? It's only when you need guardianship for a kid that's severe, that can't take care of themselves. Now, my kid's 41, and I don't think he can take care of himself yet. And he doesn't really have a disability. But anyhow, what you need to do is get the age of majority paper now, find out about it, and I might be able to help you, Mary. But if you can go on Patent, and you can get that paperwork when your kid turns 18. And like, it's 3 questions. And if your kid and you have to sign it, okay? And then you give that to them. But if your kid is severe and your kid is developmentally challenged, or your kid suffers from mental health issues that prevent them or hinder their ability to take care of themselves without any assistance, that's when you need it. But the paperwork will say that. Okay, no problem, Mary. Like I said, go to Patent. It's Patten. I think if you have a kid with an IEP, then most parents know, especially if your kid's 18. So you don't need guardianship if your kid is, if your kid has a language-based learning disability, or if your kid has dyslexia, chances are you don't need guardianship for that. And chances are you're not going to get it. It's only for the most severe cases. You have to understand, when somebody goes for guardianship papers, it has to be severe, because what the judge is issuing is an order to literally take away your kid's rights, and that you're making all of their decisions for them in their best interest to keep them safe. Okay. So in order to get guardianship, they scrutinize over that real good. Hey, Wendy, they scrutinize, over what you're presenting to them. You can't just walk in and say, hey, I need guardianship papers. No, you got to fill out stuff, and you have to present the evidence. And your evidence for your kid needing a guardian is the evaluations that the school did, or your outside evaluators, or a combination of both. Okay, so that's when you have to get it. But remember, you have to check your state laws, because the school, you don't do it until the age of majority paper. You don't get that done until your kid is just about to turn 18. Okay, it's called the age of majority. Check your state and see what it says. Okay, if you need help finding that information, let me know. But you need, because once your kid turns 18, let me tell you something. If the school district has an opportunity to stop working with you because you have been a royal pain in their hiney, let me tell you, they're going to take advantage of it. So you need to make sure that your kid is allowing you to help them with their education. Okay, you have to make sure, because if you don't, your kid's not going to get any services. And they would more than happily work with your kid, talk about all the wonderful things they're going to do, and then don't do it. Okay, and there's nothing you can do. So Mary says, my kid is not severe, so not interested in guardianship. But thank you. Thinking of college, yes. Is there something in between guardianship and free reign to the kid, like power of attorney? Not that I know of. See, once you're an adult, think about it like this. What you're asking, what if somebody did that to you and you were incapacitated? Okay. What if somebody did that to you? And believe me, a lot of parents would love to do that with the kids and make them go to college. So, power of attorney, that would mean you and your kid agree for power of attorney. Whatever you do when your kid turns 18, if you're not going for guardianship, then your kid has to agree with it. So if your kid gives you a power of attorney over their life, or to a limited capacity, and you have to drop the papers for a power of attorney, And your kid and you have to sign them, and you have to contact an attorney to tell them I need a power of attorney. And then the attorney will, educate you on what this does and why it does and all of that good jolly stuff. I hear you. Yeah, girl, I would love to have had that kind of power over my kid. Are you kidding me? Oh, he would have been right in art school. I would tell him, sit down, shut up, and don't touch nothing. Do what I tell you to do. No, okay. As that what my father used to say, don't do as I do as I say do. So, oh yeah, we all would like to have that kind of power because, they don't grow into themselves for a long time. But that's what makes you who you are. Going through, you can advise your kids and you can show them things, that could help them. But, it's got to be up to them to take that advice. As long as you raise your kid and you gave them the tools, that's the best we can do. If we can give our kid the tools to make the right decisions and to use their best judgment, that's all we can hope for. Okay, I may look into that. If kiddo agrees, he's probably not. Exactly. It is worth a conversation. But I mean, what you can do with your kid, like I said, the age of majority paper from the school is pretty much like a power of attorney. But what you're both doing is when you do the combination that you and your child are going to make the decisions regarding the education piece, then that's good. Now, when kids want to go to college, a lot of kids look for their parents' input because they don't know. They just know college, but they also know college is not party time. They know that you're going to have to work. So kids will go to their parents for guidance in that 9 times out of 10. But see, that's what's so cool about the transitional assessment, because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to help give your kid the tools to make those kinds of decisions on their own. Because first we have to, when you're 18 years old, 9 times out of 10, you're welcome, Mary. 9 times out of 10, at 18 years old, I mean, I was all over the place. I said, you know what? If I go back to school, if I go to college, then I'm going to take a liberal arts course. And usually that's what a lot of people do because you don't know until you get into college. Not for nothing. I went to college in the 70s. I never finished. I didn't go back to school until 5 years ago. I turned 62 just the other day. Not a happy camper, but I did. But I just went back to school like 5 years ago. And it wasn't until a train ride home from New York that I decided what I wanted to do. And since then, I've changed my mind again. I was like, no, I can't do that. I went to school to be to take the courses to be a certified BCBA. Because all of my work, it seems, is in behavior. And it is because of the population that I serve. Now, it's not maladaptive behavior. It's just behaviors in general. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Sometimes it is. But a lot of times it's not. It just has to do with what the child is doing that may be inappropriate, that we need to change to make him socially acceptable. Okay, to have socially acceptable behavior. Oh, thank you, Mary. Yeah, no. I don't feel like it either. The brain's like Kim 21. Girl. And I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs anyway. So, but thank you. But yeah, see, you made me lose my train. That's the ADD. I'm not ADD though. But yeah, so we don't know what our kids don't know what they want to do when they start college. And sometimes I say, well, sometimes it's better for kids to take a year off and then go back. But what happens is if they take that year off, 9 times out of 10, they won't go back. And because I know I didn't want to go back. And then I ended up getting married and I had a kid and blah, 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 blah. And life happens. So what you want to do when your kid turns, if you're in your state, if the transition law takes effect when your kid's 14, you want to start that ball right now. And most of what you want to start because your kid is so young, okay? Because remember, when you do the IEP, the first part of the IEP is the parent concerns. The middle is the student strengths. And the bottom is the vision statement. Now, the school district thinks they're supposed to be all over that first page, but they're not. They're only in the bottom, okay? the vision statement. Now, the vision statement is what your kid wants, where you want your kid to be in 5 years. Okay. And what I do is I tell parents, don't do 5 years, do 2 years. So if your kid's 14, okay, when your kid turns 16, you want to go back to that, because there are certain assessments. So let's say your kid wants to be, okay, here's one I always use. Okay, let's say your kid, I shouldn't, wait, I'm going to say it again. Okay, for instance, a child that's blind, okay, the child told the parents that he wants to be an airline pilot. No, can't be an airline pilot. However, we can't change his mind because we don't know. Look how fast technology is. Right now, we got cars that drive themselves. So we don't know. Maybe you don't need eyes to fly a plane. We don't know. So what we have to do is we have to do the proper assessments so that the kid will have the necessary information so that the kid can make the decision. The kid can have control over where their life goes from 14 to when they graduate or when they age out of the program. So we put the control back in their hands. However, what we have to do is we have to give them the tools. Okay. So this kid wants to go and he wants to be an airline pilot. Okay. So part of the IEP then. So what we do first, before we do any of that, we have to do assessments. Okay. Some of the assessments are like personality or preference tests. There's another one, career development measures. And then there's another one that's on the job training. The closer your kid gets to 18, after your kid turns 16, your kid might want to be working. So then you got to give them that. Okay. So then there's the self-determination assessments. Okay. So earlier I showed everybody this. Let me see if I can do it right there. I'll do this on screen share. I'm going to show you guys something. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but for those who didn't, okay, there's this thing. Okay. This thing right here. It's called the Age Appropriate Transition Assessment Toolkit. Now, what it consists of is information. Here it is right here. Can you guys see that? Do you want me to make it bigger? I'll make it bigger. Okay. So what it does is it explains stuff to you. What is a transitional assessment? Why conduct it? Okay. And for the most part, I just told you why. I just told you what it's for. But then it says sample instruments. So it tells you the instruments, okay, the testing instruments that you need, okay, to do this, to do the transitional assessment. And so now let's scroll down. See, it says, what is a transitional assessment? Then it breaks it down. See all the laws listed in here? The Division of Career Development and Transition, DCDT, of the Council for Exceptional Children defines transition assessment as an ongoing process of collecting data on the individual's needs, preferences, and interests as they relate to the demands of current and future working, educational, living, and personal and social environments. Okay? That's what it's all about. So this document breaks it all down in all of those areas. It breaks it down in like working, educational, living, and personal and social environments. So what are we going to do for your kid? How are we going to help your kid? Okay. The best way to help your kid is to find out what your kid wants to be when he grows up. So if your kid wants to be a pilot and your kid is blind, there's lots of jobs you can do in it. Clearly, he likes planes. Okay, so there's lots of things you can do in an airport. You don't have to fly the plane. But let's say hypothetically, we have new age stuff and, we're in the 21st century. So maybe we can fly a plane without using our eyes. So let's go delve into. So what we do is we write up the IEP. Okay, after doing all of these assessments, we find out, yes, he's very interested in this. Yes, he would be suited for it. However, this child is blind. So now we have to figure out. So what we have to do is what kind of information does this kid need? Okay, he needs to know what are the qualifying things to be an airline pilot. So what classes do you have to take? What schools do you have to go to? What do they consist of? You need all the information about flying a plane. Okay. You may not need to know what kind of plane it is, but you need to know all the stuff about flying a plane, about what you need as credentials before you become a pilot. Okay. We need to give them all of that information. And all that is contacting these different organizations, the schools, for one thing. You want your kid to go to college? Let me tell you what you do, girl. Find out what your kid wants to do nonchalantly, and then contact the schools and say, hey, can I have an application and a copy of your book? Or where can I find your book? You want a hard copy of the book. So he's getting mail. Okay. You want them to mail him a copy of the college book for the courses he's interested in. Then you sit down and topic of conversation. You ease into it with them. Okay. So that they can see, well, maybe that's not for me. Okay. Maybe I really don't like that. Maybe that's too hard. I don't want to do nothing hard. Okay. I want something easy. And they all want something easy. Okay. And what we have to tell our kids is, depends on how bad you want something. If you want it bad enough, you'll do what the work needs, what needs to be done to accomplish that task. Okay. You will do what you need to do. But there's also specific assessments. Okay. So for everything that you want to know about how to help your kid figure out what they want to be, because first we have to figure out through assessments, what does your kid want to do? Now, the assessments is like, I don't know if they still do it, but if you went to the unemployment office, or maybe if you go online, you can fill out questionnaires to help you figure out what you're good at, what would be a good spot for you, in what field. It might be customer service. It might be going back to college. It might be a whole bunch of things. Okay. But these assessments help you determine like what your personality and your preferences and career development things. Okay. It'll give you an idea of what you might be interested in doing down the line. And then once you have that information, now what you have to do is say, okay, what do I need to get to that point? So let's say you want to be a pilot. Well, if you want to be a pilot, you got to go to college. Okay. You got to have a degree. So if you have to have a degree or some kind of training, then where do you go to school for that? So now you got to do the research. So these things go in the IEP. That's why schools don't like doing them. Okay. Because part of the regulation includes the development of an IEP for transition services. That's 34 CFR 300.20. Actually states, where is it? I'm going to find it. I'll go there. Just a minute. I'm doodling. 320. Where's that sucker? Oh, I just passed it. 320. 320. Okay, so now I want to stop sharing that. I'm going to share it again. I'm going to share it again. I'm going to share that. And I'm going to share that. Do that. Okay, so here's the, it's under, I believe it's under this. Let me just go down and find it. Okay, this is what I like to do. Control F. Did I do it? I found it. Find it. Okay. There it is right here. Okay, see this right here? Oh, I don't have it here yet. Okay, see this right here, guys? See? See that? That's where the transition piece is. So it says transition services begin not later than the first IEP to be in effect when the child turns 16. Remember what I told you? It's about when your kid turns 16 or younger if determined appropriate by the IEP team. So you can do these assessments and everything way before, because transition is about all areas of functioning. Okay. It's not just about when your kid ages out of a program. It's about everything, transitioning from, one activity to another. It's how is your kid going to transition? Okay. So, and it's updated annually. And thereafter, the IEP must include, here it is, guys. Okay. Appropriate, wait, let me do this. Appropriate, measurable post-secondary goals based on age-appropriate transition assessments, which is what I'm talking about now. Okay. Related to training, education, employment, and where appropriate, independent living skills. Okay? And then it says the transition services, including courses of study. So if your kid's going to college, okay, the colleges require, maybe they require a certain course. Like some colleges, if you're going to college, then and you're going into a particular field, it may require that you take biology, okay, or chemistry or trigonometry. So you have to make sure that the kid is prepared to go from high school to college, if that's where the kid wants to go. You have to make sure that the course of study is included so that the kid could meet those goals of going to college after high school, okay, if that's your kid's goal. All right. So that's why these assessments are very, very important. You can't just skip over them. So I can get you guys the link for this if you want it. Just let me know. It's really, really important. The cool thing about this, I tell all my parents, is it breaks down everything. And the OSEP approves this as the best practices. Okay. So here it is right here. For instance, it says, why conduct transition assessments? Why? It says transition assessments may be undertaken for several reasons. These reasons include to develop post-secondary goals and related transition services and annual goals and objectives for the transition component of the IEP. Every IEP has a transition section, okay? B, to make instructional programming decisions. All of these assessments help direct the team to develop goals and objectives that are appropriate for what your kid wants to do moving forward and once leaving the school, okay? So that's why you have to have this stuff. So, and C, to include information in the present level of performance. That's part of the IEP, present level performance, related to a student's interests, preferences, and needs in the IEP. All of this stuff has to go in the IEP, guys. When your kid turns 16 or whatever your state says, that's when you can start. All right? In addition, transition assessment is an excellent way to learn about individual students, especially their strengths outside of academics and career ambitions. Okay? This is some of the things that are in this document. It goes on and on. How do you select the instruments? So first, become familiar with the different type of transition assessments and their characteristics, including reading their respective manuals, okay? Seeking independent information, tests, reviews, professional articles, and talk with local adult service providers or employees. Those are the people like that may be responsible for providing your kid with, what do I want to call it? With funding, okay? So remember, if your kid is severe, okay, if your kid has been deemed, for instance, incapacitated for whatever reason, then the information, the evaluations that you have done will be helpful in determining like which agency is going to be responsible for your kid, okay? For instance, it could be the Department of for people who are developmentally challenged. It could be the Department of Mental Health. It could be the rehabilitative services, which helps people get into college. In Massachusetts, for instance, where I lived, there were people who were developmentally challenged that were going to a community college that was specifically designed for people who were developmentally challenged. They took classes. You can take classes in a college. You don't have to go to get a degree. One of my clients wants to go to college, but she's not gonna. It's not like she's gonna get an associate's degree or anything. But she wants to go to college. We're not gonna take that away from her. The mother already has guardianship, and so what we're gonna do is when the time comes, we're gonna enroll her in a course at Massasoit College, providing they still have the program. So Just because your kid has a disability doesn't mean your kid can't take a course. Like there's lots of art courses you can take, single courses that aren't credited. Okay. So but that doesn't mean your kid can't go to college. Okay. So, a lot of the assessments, will help the student to answer some questions about themselves. Okay. So these assessments are to help the student figure out who they are, what they want, what they're interested in. They help guide them. Okay. So it tells them, who am I? What are my unique talents and interests? Like for instance, my son, oh my God, he draws like unbelievably. He should have gone to art school, but he didn't. He didn't listen to me. He actually told me that he's going to live his life his way. And there's nothing I can do about that. Even though I see all of the possibilities, he's not going to listen to mommy because, he was older and he couldn't listen to me. I couldn't conk him in the head. But, and then it says, like, what do I want to do in life now and in the future? This is what we all look for when we're in school and we're about to leave. Okay. What are some of life's demands that I can meet now? Okay. What are the main barriers to getting what I want from school and my community? So it helps us pull out some questions that we need to ask and answer, especially at IEP meetings. Okay, you need to do this before you go to an IEP meeting regarding your kid. Okay, after your kid turns 14, or if the team decides that you need to do transitional. Okay, you need to sit down and ask your kid these questions and say, "We're going to go to a team meeting. I need to ask you some questions, just real quick," and then you do it. And whatever he says, you write it down. Don't try to change his mind. Just write it down. Your kid might surprise you. Okay. And third, the instruments that are selected are appropriate for your students. Okay. They're age appropriate. And so it talks about reading level and general intelligence, their post-school ambitions, college versus other training options. My granddaughter, not just, she's been doing it for a while now, but she went to school to become HVAC certified, which is really cool since she's a girl, and I'm really proud of her. And so you can do that. You can do certification things like local training options, employer and adult service providers, community opportunities, would be best served by a person-centered planning. Okay, so like a lot of these questions that are particular, depending on your child, you may have to just answer these questions yourself. Like, where do you want to go? Now, if you're doing that because your kid is disabled or incapacitated, then what you want to do is you want to reach out to some of the human service agencies, which are probably, your kid is probably already involved with. If they're not, seek them out. Okay. And there's an application process. And if your kid is getting SSI by the time they turn 18, you're going to need that. Then that's another thing. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. So a lot of the things that this does is, so your kid turns 18 and so you're going to have a transition meeting. Okay. So what you need to do is, I don't want to remove that. I want this. What you need to do is, I forgot what I was going to say. You have to have the transition meeting. Okay. So you need to figure out, you need the school to tell you who's coming to the meeting, because according to federal law, they actually have to invite human service providers that could be the ones that are providing your kid with money, such as not so much like funds, but there could be funds involved, like Social Security. They could get a Social Security check, health insurance. All of this has to be in their name as an adult. So there's little kid ones, and then there's the adult services. So now you have to check out the adult services for the human service agencies. So that would include Social Security Department. That would include housing, DayHabs, which agency would provide. So you need these people at the team meeting. You need Social Security sitting at the table, or you need them to help. That should be part of your kid's IEP, to help you find out about Social Security benefits, because these are services that your kid could get. So the school has to help you find this. That's what this law is all about. Okay. The school has to invite these people to your team meeting so that you can ask them questions and they can help guide you. So when they develop the IEP could say something like, what does little Johnny needs to apply for Social Security benefits? Okay, fill out applications for what do you call it? Human service. Okay, identify the appropriate human service agency, and once identified, now fill out the application. All of that can be done through the school. So then they have to provide you with the information, so then you can go and figure it out with your kid. But if they give you that information, if it's in the IEP, then they have to do it. So what they have to do is identify who the human service agency is, invite them to the team meeting. Okay. And then you have the ability to ask them questions at that time. Where is the application process? Where do I get the application? How long does it take? What does it cover? What do you offer? Do you offer housing? Do you offer day hab? If it's a day hab, then how does he get to and from the program? Okay. And they can answer all of those questions, and they're easily answered, because if your kid is getting Social Security disability insurance, then Social Security disability and the state health services that your kid will get automatically. If your kid gets one, your kid gets the other 9 times out of 10. Okay, if your kid gets Social Security because they're incapacitated, 9 times out of 10, they'll get the state health benefits. Like in Massachusetts, if your kid gets Social Security, you pretty much automatically, all of my clients that got Social Security benefits at the age of 18 also got Mass Health. Okay. And they will also receive services from like the Department of Disabilities or the Department of Mental Health, or, Mass Rehab. And there's other things they can get. Okay. So you got to get them an ID when they turn 18. There's lots of things. Like one of the things that your kid could do, if your kid is taking, if one of the transition is getting your kid a license. Okay. So now what the school can do is say, okay, how are we going to get your kid a license? Okay. That's part of the IEP. Okay. The kid has to study for the book. He has to study for the test. The school has to help him. They have to write IEP goals and objectives to help the kid go from getting the book to taking the test. Okay. And then and setting up the appointment and all of that. Okay. So getting your driver's license, getting your permit, that's part of your IEP. If that's what your kid wants, and that goes, I've actually done that where my kids got their license because it was in the IEP. Okay. There's lots and lots of things you guys can get in the IEP. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you right now. So that's one of the things. But to prove whether or not if your kid is like 18, okay, so say your kid is 18 and none of these assessments were done, you immediately need all of these assessments done. Okay. Now they're different. Like you have 2 of the same, or you'll have several that are almost the same. So a lot of them can be done online. Okay. So it says, and it tells you how do I conduct an age appropriate transition assessment? That's for the school. So here's everything when they say, well, how do we do this? You tell them right there. There's the answer to their question. Matter of fact, you give this to the school. They should have a copy of it. They should, but they don't listen to nobody. Okay. So, wait a minute. Let me share it again. So, it identifies emerging issues. Okay. So here's one right here. I think I clicked on it and it didn't come up. Okay. This is the one I had. This is called career cruising. Let's see what happens. See if I can get it. Okay. Here's career cruising. Okay. So, about contact. Okay. So let's look here. They just go through this whole thing. They get an access code. They go through it. Career cruising. We're on a mission to engage and inspire people of all ages. Okay. So here it is. We do this by planning software, informing dreams. Okay, here's one. Career cruising was launched over 15 years ago by 3 friends fresh out of university who shared a big dream. What started as a dream now is reality, and one that continues to evolve. Okay, career cruising is used by more students, parents, educators in the libraries than any other career development program in America. Okay, actually, I had a student that took this test. So what happens is you tell the school you want your kid to take this test, okay? And what they do is they contact these people, they pay for it because it's an assessment. Your kid takes the test, and you guys, here it is right here. So all you have to do is go through this book and click on some of the links. This is one of the tests that has to be done. This test right here helps identify what their interests may be. And it doesn't matter. As long as they can take the test and answer these questions, they can take this test. Okay. And here's some more. He took this one, the Bridges, test preparation online, Bridges. Let me see what Bridges is. Is it coming up? Okay. See? These are the things that are available. Choices 360, inclusive, intuitive, comprehensive. 360 gives students the tools to build a meaningful education and life plans and create powerful reports to track student outcomes through student curriculum and assignments. Okay. So you can go on and you can look up all of this stuff. Okay. Here's a free trial. I should do that. Right there, 6 to 12. I should go in and do the free trial. So these are online things that you can do, and you can print them out. So then you can go to the school and say, this is what I want in my kid's IEP. And by the way, this is what you people were supposed to do. So these are the ones that talk about the career. Okay. CAP test. What is this? Given the increasing importance of, okay, this is for college. Okay. The ACT student, there it is. A student's performance of these exams has considerable impact on whether they get admitted to a college of their choice. Okay. So for those parents out there that are interested, or their kid is interested in college, these are some of the tests that you can take to find out, like, what can your kid get in. The two most common entrance exams are the ACT and SAT. Okay, we've all heard of that. In helping prepare a student for these exams, you may want to work through the high school guidance counselor. See what I'm talking about? For these exams. And this should be part of your kid's IEP for transition. Okay, this right here. So there's a college board. All right, so now we go through this. You think it's the end, and no, it's not. It's just a bunch of stuff. There's 64 pages to this thing. Okay, so now here's the sample instruments. Okay, so here's informal. So here's one. It talks about career preferences, dream sheet. Let's see what that one does. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Okay, perfect. This is what you do. You sit down with your kid, and this should be part of your kid's IEP. Okay, this should be part of your kid's IEP. You sit down and you ask your kid, where do you want to live after graduation? How do you intend to continue learning after graduation? What types of things do you want to learn after graduation? Where do you want this learning to occur? All of these questions your kid should be able to answer. Okay. If your kid's going on to college, or your kid is going to vocational trade school, your kid should be able to answer these questions. Okay. So that would be a good sheet for you to just pull out and just use it. Okay. Just waiting for this to go. Is this helping you guys? I don't know. A lot of times schools don't do this. And so now you can tell the school, as part of your IEP, as you tell them that you want to do direct observation of student performance. Direct observation of student performance should be conducted within the natural school environment, education, and training. So what you tell them is you want to do an observation. It's a situational assessment. So they take data on what your kid does during class. Okay. So direct observations are often done by, I'm sorry, I was wrong. They're done by a job coach, a coworker, a recreation specialist, a vocational educator. However, in keeping with self-determined philosophy, youth should learn to record their performance data. Okay. Direct observation data typically includes a task analytic data of steps in completing required tasks. So what the school has to do is, like, you say, well, my kid can't do laundry, or my kid can't make his bed, my kid can't make a sandwich. So a task analysis is a breakdown of how to complete that task in small chunks. Okay. So for instance, a task analysis of staying on task to complete the whole thing too. The goal is to get the kid, 1, to learn the skill, and 2, to finish it, to do it completely. Okay. So for a task analysis, what you want them to do is you break down the task into small chunks. So for instance, to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So you break it down, for instance, and this is, it can get real detailed. It depends on the kid. So the kid has to get the peanut butter and jelly. Okay. So he gets the peanut butter out of the cabinet. He gets the jelly out of the fridge. Okay. Then he has to get a knife, 1 for each, 1 for the peanut butter and 1 for the jelly. Then of course we have to have 2 slices of bread. Okay. Then he has to spread the peanut butter on 1 piece of bread and jelly on it. These are steps. So he got the peanut butter out of the cabinet. That's step 1. He got the jelly out of the fridge. That's step 2. He got the 2 pieces of bread out of the bread container. That's 3. Okay. He got the knife. He got 2 knives. He got 1 for the peanut butter and 1 for the jelly. Okay. That's 5 and 6. That's 4 and 5. So what I'm trying to say is it's all broken down into steps until the kid can do it without stopping from start to finish. Then the kid has mastered it automatically. When you tell him to go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that's what he does. He goes in, he makes the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, comes down, sits down, and eats it at the table with it on a plate. That's a task analysis. That's what can come out of this. Okay, direct observation data typically includes task analytic data of steps in completed requiring tasks, such as folding laundry, sorting mail, work behavior, staying on task, following directions, getting along with coworkers. All of that has to do with your kid moving on, okay, independently. So that's what a direct observation. So what you tell the school is you want them to do an observation for specific things. So you want to know what your kid, first of all, what you can do is ask them to do a Vineland on your kid. Okay. You can ask them to do a Vineland, and that will help you determine what is your kid's present level of performance in certain areas, such as, clean functional skills, daily functional skills, communication skills. Okay. All of that, there's an assessment for that. Okay, here, example of a task analysis. Wonderful. I didn't even know they had this. This is cool. Oh, see, it's NTAC. Man. Okay, so I guess you got to fill this out and then they send it to you. But keep in touch. Page requested. Okay. I don't know why some of these pages are not there, but anyway, I have a task analysis. I can show you what one looks like. So let me see. So each one of these assessments gives us information about your kid. Okay. Hey, Barbara. So for instance, let me look at them. I'm going to pull up another one and see if it says, see, I don't know why they keep doing that. I might have an old one. I will double check and make sure that I have the right age appropriate assessment, transitional assessment, because there's several. Every few years they come up with a new one. So that might be why some of these links aren't working, but suffice it to say, you can get a lot of information. Like, okay, when they say curriculum-based assessments, one of them is the Brigance Life Skills Inventory. You want that, okay? Because that one right there will tell you what your kid can and cannot do, okay? What your child's current level performance is in life skills, okay, and inventory. Brigance Transition Skills Inventory, Curriculum Associates. Brigance Employability Skills Inventory. All of these you want your kid to take. They give us different information, okay? Transition planning inventories. There's so much information in this document. It should be in every parent. They should have it at the ready all the time. You should know this by the time your kid turns 16. You guys should know this backwards and forwards, what your kid needs, what you need to request. And you need to be able to give it to the ding-dongs at the school. and tell them, I want you to do this. And if you don't do it, I need you to tell me why you're not doing it. Because you're obligated to do a transitional assessment. Okay. And then when they do their assessment and they call it a transition assessment, Barbara, we're going to say, well, if this is a transition assessment, then how? Okay. So now I get to ask a whole bunch of questions like up in here. See, I don't know any of this information. What's her performance level for employability skills? What is that? And I just go and find that and pull it down. I can ask all the questions I want. What's the transition skills inventory? Well, I mean, what do her skills look like? What's the present level of skills for transition skills? I mean, there's just so many questions you guys can ask from this, because I'm telling you, the school districts, their evaluations don't answer 90% of these questions. They don't. And the schools know it. They don't care. I told you. Think of your kid as you just bought a brand new car. And you drive it off the lot. Drove it off the lot and it got totaled. As soon as you drove it off the lot. You know what you can't do? Bring that smashed up car back to the dealer and talk about, yeah, I'm all set. No, once you drove that car off the lot, they were done. You're all set with them. They don't have anything else to do with you but collect their monthly payment. Because smashed up or not, you signed a contract. You didn't sign a contract that if I smashed up my car or it got smashed up, then all debts are, squashed. It's all done. Okay? No. And that's the same thing the school district does with your kids. As soon as your kid leaves the building, your kid gets a diploma, or your kid gets a diploma, or your kid ages out of special education. They're done. Okay? The only thing you have now is ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, and it ain't nothing like IDEA. Okay? But there are services that are definitely available, which is nothing like a school district and how they don't give you guys services. So, for instance, if your kid needed speech and language, your kid's insurance would pay for that. Okay. So you just set up the appointment and you bring your kid there 3 times a week or whatever. Okay. Or if you needed housing. Okay. So your kid needed to stay in a residential. Okay. The school district fights you tooth and nail. The state doesn't do that. If you need a placement for your kid, then they will give you a placement for your kid. It's called housing. Now, 75% of your kids' Social Security will go towards 75. Yeah, will go towards room and board, food. Yeah, room and board, and that includes food. Okay, and then they get to keep the 25% to go spend as they wish. Which you should have control of if your kid is working. If your kid is in a group home, which is a whole nother topic, guys. There's a lot of things that go on in those group homes that you guys need to be aware of so that you're ready, so that you protect your kid. But if your kid goes to a group home, then they use your kid's Social Security money to pay for it, okay, for the room and board. And for any services your kid needs, they just, you go and you say, I need my kid to go to these doctors, and they take them to the doctors and stuff. Or you can, if they're living in a group home. If they're going to a day hab, then you just sign them up. They're a part of a human service agency already as an adult. And one of the services is a day hab where they go all day long. They're picked up on a bus, just like they're going to school every day. Only, they're 30 or they're 40 or they're 50 or they're 60. And they go to a day hab and they stay there all day and they do different activities. Or they can go to work, which if your kid is living out of the home, then the group home people will take your kid to their job and go and pick them up and bring them home. Okay. And then they take care of them. They make sure that they're fed. They make sure, okay. So they make sure they're fed. They make sure that they have everything that they need. They're cleaned, they're washed, their clothes are washed. And they're supposed to teach them things. Sometimes they don't. But and you do have a right, just like when the school offers you a program for your kid to go to, a residential or a day program, you have the right to tour the program. That's the same thing they do with adults with disabilities and their programs. Okay, so you have a right to go visit the program that they've identified as having an opening for your kid. Okay. And all of this is with the fact that don't ever, I'm telling you guys, do not put your kid in a day hab or a group home without getting guardianship. You're just setting them up. I'm telling you right now to be hurt. So we can't have that. No. Oh, I got to show you guys what my sister got me. So if you have kids, make them go away. Okay, it's in Spanish. I can't help it. I had to show you, but I'm trying not to do it like that. So I turned it a little bit. So now I got to drink it all funny and stuff. So anyway, what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you're doing the transition, that you get all of the basic testing out of the way. So you get the achievement test, all the normal ones that they do. So you want all of the achievement tests. You want all the OT, the PT, the speech and language, especially just before your kid leaves. You need to make sure you get all of these tests so they're new. So if you're going for guardianship, you have a new test, okay? And you make sure that they do psychoeducational. So you make sure they do tests that have to do with your kids' functioning skills, daily functioning skills, like how do they take care of themselves. And one of the tests that you can use is called the Vineland. The Vineland is real good for that. It breaks down certain sections of what your kid could do and what their current level performance is functioning independently, whether or not they can do certain tasks. So you want the Vineland. And if you guys need any of this stuff, you just let me know and I can tell you what the name of the testing instrument is. But it's called the Vineland, and it can help you do a lot. You need a lot of the achievement tests and the IQ assessments. And there's several. There's the WISC-5. There's the Wyatt, which is the wide range achievement test. There's the Woodcock-Johnson. There's the Peabody. What's the other one? There's the Kaufman. And there's the basic achievement skills inventory. There's lots of achievement tests that you can get for your kid, which is all about academics. Okay. And then the adaptive behavior stuff. Now there's lots of that too. So, and this book tells you all of that stuff. My son's IEP is a hot mess. Of course it is, honey. That's why we're going to hearing. Because they're stupid. Anyway, so they have adaptive behavior scales. You have, like I said before, the Brigance life skills inventory, independent living skills inventory. You have the Vineland adaptive skills. They list it right there. So you want like the most popular. The AAMR is the adaptive behavior skill. That's one that's used a lot. But the one that they use all the time in schools, I don't care what state it is the Vineland. They're all familiar with it. It's a checklist. You do one, the teacher does one, and sometimes the kid can do one too, if the kid is capable. So occupational aptitude, now. The aptitude test is a measure of specific ability relative to a given norm group. So that's the IQ test, okay? Ability involves what a person can do now or given the proper opportunity, possibly in the future. There are two types of aptitude tests. Battery it's a general test batteries and single tests measuring specific aptitude. It provides valuable information that can help gauge their potential for success in a given training or educational program or occupation. Single aptitude tests are used when a specific aptitude needs to be measured, such as manual dexterity. Okay. Okay. Clerical ability. See, this is all important. Artistic ability. Okay. Mathematical ability. Examples include the armed services aptitude, the Bennett's mechanical, occupational aptitude and interest schedule. ONET, that's the one they use a lot. ONET, ability profile. And that's the U.S. Department of Labor, Employment, and Training. So you want to do the ONET, okay? The ONET is used a lot. No consent. No consent for what? No behavior assessment. Of course not. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Cardinal Cushing did the same thing. You guys want to hear something I got to tell you? So I requested that this kid get the ABLES-R, which is the assessment of basic language and learning skills revised. The AFLS, which is the assessment of functional skills. The ADOS to see if the child is, what do you call it? If the kid has autism, and a functional behavioral assessment. These wombats, for the functional behavioral assessment, they took the information from the ABLES-R and put it in another document and called it a functional behavioral assessment. That's what they did. It's nowhere near the realm of a functional behavioral assessment. It's the ABLES-R with it's a document with the ABLES-R, and then they're calling it the FBA. And they lied to the parent and told the parent that the ADOS developers said that nobody can do the test right now because of COVID-19. Big fat lie. Because on their website, yeah, that's another thing. When these people tell you guys stuff, what you need to do is call the developer. The developer is the person that is the company that made the test assessment. So mom called. Mom called and she looked up. She called them and they said, no, we never said that. We never said that. You know why they never said it? Because on their website, they actually did say you could do the ADOS virtually. So they lied. They lied and didn't do a test and converted one test into a test. I mean, it's a hot damn mess. I can't wait to file against them. It's going to be fun because they're stupid. They're just stupid and they don't care. And I'm sick of it. I can't stand it anymore between the hearing officers and these stupid wombats at these private schools and these idiots. Okay, I got another one. School superintendent actually said this to the mother. The mother wants a reading program like Orton Gillingham or, the Wilson reading because, her kid can't read and he's going into the 5th grade. Okay. The mother has, hey, Amanda, don't get mad. I know, I'm telling you. So the stupid school superintendent told the mother, and I know it infuriates me because I've heard this so many times. I could just reach across the table. She said, well, if you put him in that kind of a program, then he's going to be with kids, that are developmentally challenged. And, he's going to have some self-confidence issues. I'm like, she said what? She said what? I found out this school superintendent is from Massachusetts. They're infamous for telling parents that. They've told me this. You know what my response is? So how's he going to feel when he graduates from high school and he can't read above a 6th grade level? How's that going to work for his confidence? How's that going to help him? How's it going to help him when he graduates from high school, because you people will graduate him, and he can't read to go get a job, can't fill out an application? How do you think that's going to make him feel? I just told the mother, you know what you need to do? I know what you need to do. You need to tell them you're on an extended day program at your house 3 times a week, an hour a day. Get the program that way. She's stupid. It's because they don't care. Only any person in this field that thinks that makes sense is stupid. You can't work in this field and say giving a kid a service. Let me tell you what they were giving him. This stupid program called Sit Together and Read. There is no such program. It's a piece of doo-doo. You know how I know? They've been giving it to this kid since he was in kindergarten. He never made it past the 1st grade. That's why it's stupid. She would much rather give that kid that program. You know why? It's cheap. I can buy it. And you can buy it. Because they don't care. So I told the mother to tell her to give it to her kid. Stupid idiot. I know most of the ideas are stupid, but what you guys have to do is, see, she said that to make the mother feel bad. She said that to pull at the mother's heartstrings. So what you guys have to do is come back and say, that's stupid. Okay? It's like telling you that if your child is in a wheelchair, not to send him to school because the kids are going to make fun of him. What are you, crazy? There's stuff for that, okay? Let some kid bully my client and see what I do. That kid ain't gonna bully nobody when I get done. Neither are his parents. Because the only reason why a kid does that kind of stuff is because of their parents. You shouldn't bully anybody. That's the stupidest thing I've ever. I was so mad today. I think I could just spit. It's ridiculous. Emotional, yeah, exactly. Emotional manipulation. That's absolutely right, Amanda. That's exactly what it is. Let me put, and that's really disgusting. This was a school superintendent. This wench is making all kind of money at a school district that's, I swear to God, it's this big. All kind of money. And this is what she tells a parent. That's not nice. How do you go to sleep at night telling parents some stupid crap like that? I'm not going to give you your kid service because it's going to hurt his self-esteem. What are you, nuts? And so not being able to read is going to what? Make him feel real better? Real better. I hate people. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. And I hope to God they're listening to me. I have absolutely no respect for them. See, that's when everybody says, why do you get so mad? I keep telling parents, I'm going to start drinking. Before I do meetings, I might have to take a shot of Patron or something because I can't. I don't know how not to yell. I've tried I tell people now when I'm yelling, tell me, damn it, stop yelling. I don't know how not to. I just don't. And it's because taking candy from my baby. Exactly. But it's just so I just want to choke them. I can't even believe that you would say something like that to a parent. Why would you hurt it like that? So it's better for the kid, because we all know. Let's hear about your way. I should leave him in the stupid program you have that doesn't work, that we prove doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So what am I supposed to do with that, you numbnut? Get out of here. Come back and talk to me when you grew a brain. Because I can't. I can't talk to you anymore because you're stupid. Go tell that to your kid. Pray your kid doesn't have a disability. Okay? Because that's what you should be getting for your kid. Some stupid, yeah, you know what? That's what I told her. Tell them to give your kid the service at home. Then nobody knows their house that. And then all of a sudden he's going to go to school one day and he's going to be able to read. Oh, he's going to feel so good about himself. Now what do you have to say? Oh, good, I would have said. Oh, good. Well, then you could just give him an extended day, 3 days a week for an hour a day for Orton Gillingham. That's what I want. Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye, and hang up on him. That's how you talk to these people. Okay? Because they're stupid. And they're mean. And then they want me to be mean. I don't care nothing about that. This is what I do. That's what the mother should have said to her. Hey, girl, I love you too. But yeah, so I get a little angry. I'm getting a headache just talk. That just made me get a headache. After I do this, I'm going to have to go put something on my neck because I'm already mad about it. I can't believe it. My kids have loved their environment and their services. And they only notice it when people like you, dumbass, point it out. See? See what I'm talking about? Your kids are doing good though, Amanda. Oh, I'm so happy. How about my little girl? Is she okay? I know you are. They're dumb. See, I have a pet peeve with professionals, well, so-called professionals who go to school and do all of this crapola, and then they go to work for a public school system, and then they take their education and throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't. My brain is going, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you work in this field when you clearly don't like children? You can't. You don't like children. You're power hungry, and you think you're more important than everybody. I mean, I understand that part about why you work in this field, but you hate children. Don't pretend you like them when you say stupid stuff like that to them. To the parents of these kids. I mean, I know because they've said it to me. I had a teacher, I told you guys, I think. I had a teacher tell me one time I went to a team meeting. This is before I became an advocate. We sit down at the meeting. Yes, and my son just did a tour yesterday, and I let him tell the district they couldn't meet the transition. Good boy. I love him. I love him. So anyway, I go to the team meeting. This is before I became an advocate. My son was 14. He's 41. That's how old he was. And that's how long ago it was. So I go into the room and I'm mad because I've taken so much time from my job to come down to this stupid school so often. It's disgusting. He said much better than me. Good job. You taught him well. So we sit at the table, and before the meeting even starts, the stupid guidance counselor looks at me. Now, I'm supposed to be at work because, I got to pay bills. I got to take care of my kid. Okay. So I had to leave work to come to this stupid meeting because they're dumb and they don't know how to deal with a 14-year-old kid with ADD. ADD. He's smarter than every kid. I had him tested. He's smarter than every kid in the classroom. He tested at the 7th grade. He tested in the 7th grade in reading and comprehension at a 12th grade level. He's smarter than all the kids in this silly classroom. Okay. God, she is. I'm so happy. So he looks at me for a long time and then he says, before the meeting gets started, people are coming in and stuff, sitting down, setting up their stuff and everything. This fool looks at me from across the table, sitting directly in front of him. And he says, well, your son acts like he has a chip on his shoulder. I said, what? What did you just say to me? He said, well, yeah, you're welcome, honey. He said, well, yeah, your son acts like, yeah. I said, let me tell you something. And I did it just like that. And I said, you would have a chip on your shoulder for everything you did. All you hear was people criticizing you. Not only does he have a chip on his shoulder, I have a chip on my shoulder because of you people. He got up and left the room. I never saw him again. Goodbye. Don't let the good Lord hit you with a door. What is that? Don't let the good Lord, I forgot how it goes. Split you. Get out. So I never saw him again. Okay. That's because they think they can say whatever they want. And, parents have a thing that these are people in authority. Bite me. No, they're not. You pay them. And they don't want us to think of that. They'll let them know all the time. My taxes pays your salary, stupid. Talk to me like you ain't got no sense. I'm not afraid of you. You're a twit. And and there's a big thing about how parents got to act a certain way. So do they. Don't start none, won't be none. You gonna start some? Where is it? Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. That's my girl. I knew somebody would get it. Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Got tongue-tied. Got mad. That's what I do. I get tongue-tied. I don't know what to say. But anywho, okay. You guys can't let them say some off the wall, out of pocket stuff. You call them on it. Now, there's lots of ways you can challenge them on their nonsense that might be better than the way I do it, because whatever comes in my head comes out of my mouth. I can't even stop it sometimes. And if people trigger a response, it's going to come out of my mouth. And I really don't care about the repercussions because you piss me off. And there's just no reason for it. I'm sitting here trying to figure out some things, and then you come out of pocket like that, we're going to have some problems. For real. I just don't care nothing about you people. I don't see what everyone is saying. Well, I don't know why you don't. Why don't you, girl? I don't know what I did. Everybody sees you, honey. We all see what you're saying. So yeah, we have to be, when we're asking for them to do stuff, they have to do it. Okay. And you put it in writing. You never ask these people. The best way to get these people is you never ask them for anything. If they tell you something, you put it in writing. You make them put it in writing. And then if they don't, you do. You say on such and such a date, we had a conversation. This is what you said. I'm going to need that shit. I need you to tell me what you're going to do, and I need everything. I don't know if I don't know, maybe are you on your phone looking at it, Barbara? If you're looking on your phone, it might be different. I don't know. But anywho. So, yeah, the transition assessment is very, very important. And I'm telling you, if you guys have kids, whether your kid is developmentally challenged or incapacitated due to mental illness, or whether your kid has ADD and dyslexia, you need this document. Okay. You need to read it. You need to make sure that you're getting what you need out of it. And That's another favorite, is the personality or preference test. Okay. So the personality, here, let me put it up. I really love this program, guys. I'm just so happy with it. Can you guys see all my stuff? I keep going back and forth because this is really cool. Anywho, so it says, I had a little pencil, but I don't know where it is. I got to go get it for this computer. Oh, my other computer? Yeah, not good. So it was all bad. It's all bad. Anyway, so I had to put everything on this computer. So the personality or preference tests are really, really important. Personality inventories measure individual differences in social traits, motivational drives and needs, attitudes, and adjustments. I think I need that one. Personality measures offer a means of evaluating support for or opposition to a career under consideration. The score alone should not be viewed as a I can't say the word, I can't say it, of success, a predictor of success or failure, but rather should be compared with other data, including abilities and interests. The Myers-Briggs, it's called the MBTI. That's a cool one. I've had people do that one. I think I've had people do this 16 personality factors. That's a real cool one. And then they have the career development measures. Career development inventories measure developmental stages. See, Barbara, this is what they didn't do for your kids. This right here. They didn't do none of this. See, and that's what's going to be the problem, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to file against them, and then I'm going to say all the stuff they didn't do. Now they're going to be mad because none of their evaluations included any of this stuff. They just do the typical regular, and then they say, we did that. You did not. Where are the career development measures? Where are the goals and objectives for that? Okay. So they didn't do it. So when I do it, I'm going to go after them. On the job training evaluation. And that's another thing you have to do. Barbara, you said that you're going to be talking to those people. You need to tell them about this for both of your kids, but especially for the evergreen one. Okay. Tell them they didn't even do this. There's no transition in your kid's IEP. None. That's what you tell them. And apparently they don't do, and what you have to do is you have to tell those people, because they're going to say, well, you say they don't do it for any of the kids. Okay. Whenever you're talking to them about that school, you have to say their policy and practices, they don't do any of this for any of the kids. Period. That's what you tell them. Okay. Remember, like at Cardinal Cushing, they had vocational stuff. There's no vocational stuff for your kid. Where is it? They don't have vocational program. Another one for on-the-job training or training evaluations, you guys. One of the most effective ways to determine whether a student is ready to work. Okay. See, Barbara, this is what you need at a given position, is some form of on-site assessment. As noted earlier, most employers will have some form of evaluation tool that they can be modified to meet your needs. In addition, the following assessments provide information on a student's general, i.e., behaviors and skills that apply to almost any job, employability relative to a training or job site. The Becker Work Adjustment Profile, Job Observation Behavior Scale, all of this stuff right here, this is what your kids need. How about when you ask for a behavior plan and a one-on-one and they give you what did the PWN say? This is for a first grader. Yes, because if you ask for that, then they have to respond, and their response is in the form of a PWN. So what did they ask you for prior written notice? What are they saying in it? Are they saying you can't have it? Or what are they saying? Okay. So depending on what the PWN tells you will determine your next move. Okay. So what did they say? You're not getting it, and they tell you why you can't have it, or that was a consent form attached to it? The only way you can get a behavior plan is for them to do a functional behavioral assessment. Okay. That's how you do it. You have to get a functional behavioral assessment, and then you get, they deny it. Okay. Did they do a functional behavioral assessment? Because they can't deny doing an assessment. So if they denied it, did they do a functional behavioral assessment? Because if they didn't, they can deny it, but they're in trouble now. So, self-determination assessments, is about the person's their self-regulated behavior, who is empowered and acts as in a self-realizing manner. I'm trying to figure out what that. Self-determination assessments help determine a student's aptitude and opportunity for specific components of self-determination. We ask for, did they do it? If they didn't do it, then they're in trouble. Okay, so what you do is you put it in writing and you say, I am requesting a functional behavioral assessment and the corresponding behavior plan. Okay, they can't tell you no. They have to do it. You tell them if they don't do it, you're going to report them. So then what? Because they have to put it in writing. They have use so go start all over, honey, and you just say, I am requesting a functional behavioral assessment. Now, tell them I've already asked, and then if you asked for it before, you say this is my second request. And if you just tell them that it's your second request, and then you'll file a complaint if they don't do it. Because they can't deny you. Because what they didn't do any. We asked for it. Okay. Do you have that? Do you have your request in writing? Do you have their response? Okay, wait, stop. Did they send you a PWN for what you asked for? Did they put that in writing that you can't have an FBA? Did they do that? Because they're dumb. You probably didn't. Yes. Oh, good. Did they tell you? So they told you why. Okay, so you can file for a complaint. You can file a complaint that they did not evaluate in all areas of suspected disability. Why do you want a behavior plan and why do you want a one-on-one? They can't do that because it can be done. Okay. I'll tell you what. You tell them, this is what you say. Pursuant to OSEP. Okay. OSEP says you can do this. Okay, wait. I'm going to write it, and then I want you to copy it and send it to them, okay? Pursuant to the BACB, which is and I'm going to put it in here, behavior analyst certification for BCBAs and conduct FBAs virtual. Among other related services pursuant to OSEP and the respective provider organizations. That's what you send, okay? Here. Okay. I want you to cut and paste what I just wrote. And you say, therefore, I am requesting it one more time. They can't use COVID-19 as an excuse for not doing a behavior thing, okay? Or FBA. They can do it online. What it is they don't want to do it online because then you'll see everything that they're not doing for an FBA, okay? So there, that's what they can do. You say, okay, good. Well, then I'll just file. How come you don't see it? Can you guys see anything that I'm typing? Wait. Can you guys see me just saying hi? Okay. Okay. Because Barbara just said she couldn't see other people talking. So, okay. So I see now. Okay, good. So what you do is cut and paste that. And you say, what you say at the very beginning and say, on such and such a date, you told me that you can't do this because of COVID-19. Just for clarity. That's what you say. For clarity, I need clarification. You say, I am seeking clarification on such and such a date. I requested an FBA and whatever else you asked for. And your response to me on such and such a date, you said that you can't do it because of COVID-19. Is that correct? And then you say, according to the BACB, and then you type, and then you say, that is not true because pursuant to yada, and then cut and paste all of that. And you say, so Do you want me to send you more information regarding what OSEP said? OSEP is the Office of Special Education Programs. They monitor school districts. So what other assessments can't they do? Because of COVID-19, it's not true. And I'm telling you, I will send you the link. If you go on my YouTube channel, Sped Ed Answers, if you go on that channel and you scroll down, you will see OSEP is listed there. There should be some videos about the who can do it, okay? Who can do and every single one, any evaluation that you want done, okay, can be done. Like, ADOS, that they said it can't. So a functional behavioral assessment is an observation. That's all it is. And so what they need to do is say, what you could do is say, therefore, what part of the FBA can't you do? Now you got it, because it's everything. So it depends on, like, I have a definition of what an FBA is. So you tell them to tell you what part can't you do. They can observe your kid virtually. Okay. If your kid is doing school, then they can, that's what it's all about. Okay. So if he's doing virtual school, then they can do a virtual assessment, because they can tap into what your kid's doing virtually. There, how's that? Okay. And they can see how your kid's getting up, running around and doing all kinds of stuff because he's not paying attention to school. Okay. They don't want to do it because they know kids are not learning virtually because they're not doing their job right. I don't care what anybody says. They're just not doing it right. So yeah, just do that and contact me and let me know. Okay. My phone number is on both of my channels, Facebook too. If you go on my channel, you'll see my telephone number. If you text me, we can talk, okay? And I can tell you what to do, and I can send you some stuff, okay? And then they have to tell you why. And you say, okay, so how about I just contact the Department of Education and then find out why? Matter of fact, you know what to do? Call the Department of Education and ask them if the school district is forbidden or prohibited from doing an FBA virtually. That's what you tell them. You just tell them, no. And they're going to tell you a whole bunch of reasons why you can't. You say, no, because of COVID-19. And then when the stupid state tells you why you can't have it done, you say, could you send me that document? And they're going to say, what? Because now I got to call OSEP and tell them that you're telling me the kids can't get evaluated because of COVID. Is that what you want me to do? That's what you tell them. Is that what you want me to do? Because I'm good. So call the state, find out if they can do it, if somebody is prohibiting them from doing it. And that's what you can tell to the school. Who told you that nonsense? Did the state? And then but before you ask the question, remember, guys, whenever you ask the school a question, already know the answer. Already know the answer. So first, call the state and ask, this is SDUSD. What's SD? South Dakota? Is it South Dakota, honey? USD? I don't know what that is. San Diego, Unified School District. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So what you do is you call the Department of Education in California and you tell them, according to those, and you give them the name, that they can't do a functional behavioral assessment. Okay. Because of COVID-19. Is that true? And they're going to say, no, that's not true. We never said that. And then what you say is, and if it's true, can I have the document that you gave the school district to tell them they can't do it? I'm going to need it to send to OSEP. That's how you get them, okay? That's how you get them, girl. I don't like people. I don't like them. They're no good. So that's what you do. You tell them. You call the school. You call the State Department first and ask them, so the school just told me that they can't do a functional behavioral assessment because of COVID. And then they're going to tell you this big, long story. And then you say, okay, good. Could you send me a copy of that document that you got that information from? What is that, honey? District Deeds blog. No, call the school. Call the state. Call them on the phone. Somebody will call you back. Okay? And then you ask them. The school told me they can't do evaluations. They can't do and that's what you need to do too, is contact the school and say, you can't do any evaluations because of COVID-19. But see, in your state, it's bad. So I don't know. Did they lift the thing because you guys were in lockdown for real? But still, it doesn't matter because you're not telling them you want to break curfew or break your thing. Yeah, so call the state first And then if that's true, that's cool. Then you tell them to send you the document and ask them if OSEP knows about this. Just say it. And does OSEP know that's what you're doing? So my kid doesn't get services for functional behavioral assessment. So they're educating my kid, and it doesn't make sense to my kid. My kid's having a hard time because my kid's needs aren't being addressed because his IEP sucks. That's the kind of stuff you say, honey. That's what you say. They don't like that noise, but you say my kid's IEP isn't reasonably calculated. I need evaluations, and these wombats keep telling me no. So, do you want me to file for a hearing? Do you want me to file a complaint? But before I file a complaint or a hearing, I'm going to need the document. Otherwise, I got to get you guys as witnesses. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? So now, after I hang up with you, Cindy Martin was our student who is now going to be the United States Deputy of Secretary. Well, then, girl, we cut it in. Maybe she knows something we don't, because that'll be our next spot. I'm seriously, so that's United States Deputy. What's her name? Cindy Martin. Is now going to be the United States Deputy Secretary of Education nominee. Okay, so she hasn't been confirmed yet. Okay, so what we're going to do is, amen. Yes, hearing. Shut up, Barbara. Hearing. Hearings ain't fun, guys. Sometimes it's our only alternative, but it ain't fun. But anyway, Barbara, I got to do it. So anyway, yeah, I can't say your name. That's why I haven't said it out loud. Clavero. Is it that I said Clavero? Is that how I say it? If I'm saying it wrong, spell it phonetically so I can say it right. But yeah, if you do that, you guys don't just take whatever they say. Challenge the question. What are you talking about? Send me anytime they tell you some dumb guys. If they say we can't do it because of COVID-19, you tell them to send you the paperwork that says that. The memorandum, and who did it come from? Because they can't just invent stuff and say we can't do it because, okay? If they're saying they can't do it, then they have to tell you where they got that information from, because the law says they have to. OSEP says the IEPs have to be implemented. In fact, there's a whole thing just on, God help. Oh, really? She's that bad? It's okay. I'm going to tear it up. Clavero? Okay, good. My goal is to contact the secretary to find out, is there a special reason why they're not teaching civics? You know, like they did back in the day when I was in school. You see, I know how our government works, okay? I know how it trickles down. I know it goes federal, then it goes state, then it goes local. I know that. But there's a lot of people, including the ding-dongs that work in public schools, that don't know that or pretend they don't know. I don't know. But I know they're not giving the education regarding civics in public schools anymore. So now I'm calling the Secretary of Education as soon as possible, just giving them a week to get comfortable. And then I'm telling them, you need to get this back in order. Our kids need to know how our government works. Okay. Other countries do this. Other countries have this in there. Why don't we? So anyway, that's what I'm doing. So we're going to I'm going to figure out how to start a movement. There's a way to do it so we can get more people on our side and so that we can be heard, not a nasty one, but just, the more people we can get involved, the more power you have. Okay. You get people to pay attention. Okay. So we're going to try this. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, but I'm just tired of it. It's just crazy right now. It's too much. The kids aren't getting anything. I mean, they're just basically going to have to start all over again. So I don't know what they're doing. And jeez, I know, honey. I know, Barbara. They're all bad. I know. Shh. But anywho, so I'm going to end this for now. And if you guys have any questions, please leave your questions on my page, on my Facebook page, or on my YouTube channel. And I'll try to get back to them as soon as I can. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like my channel. Please follow me. I really need you guys to do this. Yeah, I'm going to go look her up. Okay. And see, leaves stakeholders are free at last. No. She's really bad? Damn. Okay, I'll be reading that. Incompetent, unethical superintendent Martin leaves. Oh, stakeholders are free. Oh God, that's bad. That's really bad. Oh, yeah, I hope she doesn't get it either just from that. But anywho, please like my channel. Please follow me. Like I said, guys, I'm trying to do this every Tuesday, all the time. Check all the links to see what's happening. Oh God. Okay, honey. I will. I'll check it out. Um, So I'll see you guys next Tuesday. If you have anything else, if something else pops off, I don't know. I might just come on in the middle of the week, or at the end of the week, on a Saturday. You don't know, because this is getting to be a lot of fun. It's way easier now because I don't have to take things apart and set it back up. I just walk in here and just sit down and start talking. So you never know when I'm going to start talking. So if you click the notification bell on both sites and you hit the subscribe button, and you follow me on Facebook, then you'll always be notified when I'm going to post another video. So, or do a live. So, thank you guys for coming. I hope you got something out of it. If anybody wants this transition thing, give me a call. Okay. Or just contact me via Facebook or YouTube, and I will put a link so you guys can go get it. Okay. I'll download it and it'll be a downloadable document. But there's a link where you can just go. I just did it. I got to double check and make sure that's the newest one for you guys, because it's filled with information that I'm going to be using very shortly. So I hope you guys have a great night and a great week, and be safe, people. Really be safe. Okay. Take care of your fams. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you again. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.